welcome in episode 6, episode 7. I'm not exactly sure what episode this is, but it might be number 1 in terms of page views if I know anything about the LSU Tigers. Tommy White, St. Pete Beach. Tommy Tanks. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? Good to be here.
Absolutely, dude. Excited to chat. I want to start with this. I think you're a really interesting player. I think you're a really interesting person. So tell the viewers, tell the listeners, like, who is Tommy White? What are you about on the field? What are you about off the field? Like, what makes you tick?
I'm a chill guy, man. I tell the truth, whether you like it or not. I'm just a easygoing guy, chill out. But on the field, I'm super passionate about the game. I hate losing, and I guess that shows with my play. And I guess from time to time, I like to express myself on the field with some jewelry and stuff. It doesn't take me out of being a humble player and a great guy off the field and a godly man.
You were a we'll call him a drippy guy. You were a swaggy guy back in high school. You've been this way for a long, long time with the eye paint and everything. Where'd you get that? When did you kind of just start expressing yourself in those loud ways on the field?
I don't really know, man. I saw some big leaguers, and everyone wants to be like big leaguers, and I just started playing with my game and everything. And it first started at NC State. Had a couple. I love gold, so I had a couple chains, and then everybody started wearing chains around, and like started wearing my sunglasses and stuff. And I was like, man, I put on a persona that I didn't even know I had. Like I didn't even try to do anything different or like look away. I just wore what I liked and what looked cool.
You got the tattoos as well. You're going all out. Who was the big leaguer? Like you said, there was a couple big leaguers that kind of showed out. Is there a guy that stands out over the last 10, 15 years that, kind of influenced you?
So there's two guys that I've watched growing up. One was Evan Longoria. I was a
Hmm.
Rays fan. Watching his style, how he hit bombs with that short stance, man, it just looked like he just was so like I don't really care kind of swing, and just wanted to hit homers. And then I really liked. I tried to mimic my game after Miguel Cabrera when
Oh,
he
nice.
played third. His opposite field power is unreal. So that's what I wanted to be. It was like hit home runs all parts of the field. So watching him growing up was a big part of my life.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about LSU a whole bunch, but I want to go back to your freshman year, NC State. You very, very, very quickly took on the moniker of Tommy Tanks. What did you think about that moniker when it came through, and do you still enjoy it to this day?
I didn't know what to think about it. I was so super young, I guess. I didn't really. I was just trying to help the team win the best I could, and I got a lot of pitches to hit, and everybody started calling me Tommy Tanks and stuff. And yeah, it stuck. It was a big thing. I mean, it was easy merch to do with this NIL stuff going around. I mean, having a tank, and yeah, I kind of ran with it, and it carried over to LSU, and they took it to a whole other level. And yeah, I do like it now. At first, I was like this nickname, whatever. But
Yeah.
I love it. What the fans like, I like. So
I want to ask you, I've been asking a couple of other guys this question. Adversity. You haven't faced it, not too much. I mean, there will come a time when it happens, but high school, you punished kids. NC State, you punished the ACC. You go down to LSU this past year and you set the world on fire, and you didn't even have to with some of the protection in that lineup. What is the biggest like piece of adversity that you've faced to this point in your baseball career?
um, yeah, that's a good question. Probably. I thought I was gonna go out of high school. I really thought I
Hmm.
had a chance, and it didn't go the way I wanted it to. So I was kind of like skeptical at first if I was good enough to play in college, play and stuff like that. So that was a tough time period. I guess that fall, I guess you'd say at NC State, I struggled and stuff. I was starting to get used. That was the best pitching I've seen. So that was hard. But then I went back home in the off season, like before season started, and worked back with my hitting coach and everything. And I got my swing back, and it felt really good. And first game against Evansville at NC State, I kind of just took off. But that time period, I guess you say, where I was kind of like, am I good enough to keep playing? Like am I like I don't know. I really thought I was going to get drafted out of high school, and I didn't. So that was, I guess, the toughest time.
So how about that first year at NC State? Did your success surprise you at all? Just the fact that you hit the ground running so fast?
I always thought that I could hit like any pitching that comes my way, but I didn't think I could hit home runs like that. Because I had 5 home runs my senior year of high school, and I had 5 my first weekend of college baseball. So I was
Yeah.
like, wow, all right, maybe I can put the power numbers up a little bit. So yeah, I never really doubted my swing, doubted my ability. I just didn't think that the long ball was there like it is.
So what's the biggest difference going from NC State to LSU? Kind of what changed for you in terms of the day to day, the process, the practice?
The SEC is legit. It
Yeah.
is real. Everything you hear about the SEC is true. The competition, the workouts. I never worked out at 6 o'clock in the morning before, and that's what we got. So it was some time to get used to, but I love it. I love everything about it. It makes me a more disciplined player, makes me a better person, and I mean, I love every bit about it.
What's it like getting behind a guy like Dylan Cruz? I mean, you always have RBI opportunities. You triple digits in the SEC. That's unheard of.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty awesome. Dylan and me, we had a good year together. I mean every single time they're like your batting average was 700 when Dylan was on base. Well, Dylan's on base percentage was like 800 or something. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
He was always on base, so it's like every single time I got a hit, like it was probably Dylan was going to be on base because he was always on base. So it wasn't like as crazy of a stat as people thought because of how much Dylan was on base last year. So and I mean, a ball in the gap or a deep single, like with Dylan's speed, he got me a lot of RBIs that should have been RBIs. He was always scoring. He was always thinking home. So it was awesome to hit behind him because I always knew that like if he got on, there was a chance that we could score two or score one.
So no doubt you go to Baton Rouge to chase a national championship, Jay Johnson, the whole shebang. What's that like hoisting that trophy last year?
This is the greatest feeling I've ever had on a baseball field. It's everything you dream of as a kid, and like you talk about it, you hear about it, like man, we have the team to do it, we have the team to do it. But then when it actually comes, it's like, holy cow, like we actually did it. Like you kind of you say you don't doubt yourself, but everybody doubts a little bit, and
Yeah.
we just kept plugging along, kept fighting, found ways to win, and then I think we did it in the best fashion you could have done it. So it was like it was definitely a sigh of relief mixed with like this is the greatest thing that could have possibly happened to our team. Like because now that group of guys was so close together, so now we have a reason to come back and we get to keep seeing each other over and over again until we go in our graves. So that's going to be a great story to tell our kids, our grandkids, and be able to see those guys still.
So you're kind of the elder statesman now at LSU this year. You're going to be one of the older players on the team. What is LSU baseball looking like in 2024, and where do you guys have to grow?
We got a lot of young guys, a lot of new guys. I think we have a lot of talent. Me personally, just seeing the first couple weeks of bullpens and like fielding and stuff. I think as a whole, our pitching staff is just as good, if not better, than last year's. I mean, yes, we don't have Paul Skeens, but we have. I think we have more depth and more arms. We got guys coming back that got hurt last year, and some guys that you never seen pitch yet that are disgusting. So I'm super excited to see what the pitchers get to do, and I mean our hitters will always be there because we got awesome hitting coaches. I mean what Jay teaches is unbelievable, and I think our hitters are going to figure it out real quick, and we'll be hopefully right back to where we were.
I had Jay on my Overslot podcast 2 weeks ago, and I told him that I think LSU might have the deepest pitching staff I've ever seen in the history of me doing this. I don't know if there's been a team with, I mean, I would argue you guys have 13 or 14 big league arms in that stable, which has got to be a pretty good feeling when, someone gets knocked around, you put in another arm in the fourth, another arm in the seventh. Like you guys are absolutely loaded, but it's going to be your job to score runs. And I got to know, Tommy, what is next in your development? Like where do you have to improve?
I'm really like looking at narrowing my zone a little bit, being more selective at the plate. So what I'm doing right now to work on that is I'm doing a lot of standing on bullpens and everything, and I'm talking to my bullpen catcher. I'm letting him know like I'm calling balls and strikes, like and let me know if I'm wrong, stuff like that. Just getting my eyes done. I'm getting we got these balls that have like yellow, green, like black dots on them, and you
Mm-hmm.
call it the color. So I'm just trying to like recognize pitches a little better and narrow my zone to be more selective at the plate and not just jumpy at the ball. But then again, I don't want to lose my aggressiveness because that's what makes me the hitter I am right now. Is I'm very aggressive at the plate. So it's a little mix of both, and just having a little more control at the plate and dictating my at bats and maybe walk a little more.
I like that routine with the colored balls and you calling out balls and strikes. It seems like you're kind of into that, advanced process. Taking it a step further with technology, Edgertronic cameras, Rapsodo, hit tracks. I mean, you name it, right? Is that something that you like to dive into? Because I know that you've always been even going back to high school, just a feel guy. Has that changed at all?
No, I mean the numbers. I mean, guys can look at the numbers and everything to get feedback. But I mean, if I hit the ball in the barrel, like it's on a line, I just look at spin off the bat. Like it's gonna be a homer, or it's gonna be a line drive. I don't really care how hard it goes, how far it goes. It's just I look at direction and if it's on the barrel. I'm not trying to launch angle or none of that stuff. I really like just video of my swing and then video of my game swing, and I can compare it to what I want. And I compare it to big leaguers because like the big leaguers are the best when their foot's on the ground and like their mechanics are all the same when as soon as their toe touches. So as soon as I look at my toe tap during game and I compare it to a guy that I want to hit like Miguel Cabrera or like Evan Longoria or somebody like that, and I just try to mimic my mechanics after those guys because they're getting paid a lot of money, so they're doing it right. So I'm just gonna try to copy what they do.
No doubt about that. Tough question here. How'd you develop your hand speed? Because for my money, you've got some of the quickest hands at the plate that I've seen in the last handful of years. Is that just natural strength, or is it something that you work on?
I mean, as a kid, growing up, my dad was always like forearm strength and everything, and get like all the homers come in the forearms. That's what you're telling me. So, I mean, I was doing rice buckets at a young age, but I don't really. I think the hand eye's always been there. I've always been able to hit like pitching. I mean, ever since t-ball, I got moved up because they needed to pitch. So, yeah, it's always the hand eye's always been there. I guess just going with playing baseball for how long and getting used to pitching every year. It definitely took me a while. It takes me a couple games or whatever to get used to the pitching and at different levels. But yeah, I mean, I've never really I never really worked on that. I guess I think it's just God given and a blessing. But I'm working on it now to get it better. But at the beginning, didn't really do anything for it. It was always just kind of there. But now I'm working on it.
All right, so other side of the ball, you take a ton of pride in the fact that you want to play third base moving forward, plain and simple. Have you taken strides at third base? Like, how are you feeling at the hot corner, and what has LSU done for you over there?
So in the beginning, I was definitely like, wow, like because I never played third base in college before. I didn't play third
Right.
base at NC State. I think I played a couple games and they got hurt, so they put me back at DH. So it was definitely some time to get like used to. So when the first couple games came around, and it was probably the first half of the season, it was fast. It was a lot faster than high school third base. So I definitely needed to get used to it. But I really felt very confident in the second half of SEC play going into the playoffs, especially the playoffs. I was really comfortable over there. I felt like I could do it at the end of the year, and I'm very confident going into this year at third base because I mean we're just working every single day, just footwork and glove work and everything. So super excited get another year over there in college to develop more and get better. But I was very confident leaving last year.
Okay, so LSU deep cuts. I know fall ball isn't like fully in swing yet, so you'll get the opportunity to answer this question maybe a couple months down the road. But who's the one guy at LSU right now that not enough people are talking about just being a dog?
Probably Alex Milazzo.
Mm.
I mean, he's been there since day one, and he's a dog, man. He's a little rat behind the plate, man. He can move, block everything. I mean, some of those blocks you see, you wonder how in the world could somebody do that. He's by far the best defensively catcher I've ever seen in my life, and I really think that he can move on to the next level and play for a long time if he just keeps what he's doing. But that's a guy to watch out for this year behind the plate because I think a lot of runners going to get thrown out, and there's not going to be much pass balls.
Yeah, and can I just say, Alex is a big kid, and his defense, his ability to go lateral is pretty impressive for a guy his size. So yeah, definitely watch out for Alex. All right, so we'll leave you with this, man, and I think you're the right person to ask these questions. You got one walk-up song for the rest of your career. 25 more years, you got to sit on the same song for the next 2.5 decades. What are you going with?
I'm gonna stick with it, man. I'm gonna keep it going as long as possible. I'm gonna go "Desperado" by Rihanna. I'm gonna ride it out.
It won't die.
It's been my walk song for a long time now, and I mean every year I've had it put up success, so can't really change it right now.
Thank you, Riri. All right. Last question for you, man. I'll give you two options. I'll give you Team USA. I'll give you LSU, those two. Who's the one guy from both of those teams over the years that you've played with, no shot you'd let him date your daughter or date your sister.
Trey Morgan.
I
Yeah,
think Dylan said Trey Morgan too, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah. He's a guy, man. He
What
does
is it about Trey?
I don't want to put his business out there, but he's not dating my daughter. There's no way.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And he's moved on. Tampa Bay Rays now, so you can spill it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Tommy White, LSU Tigers, man, I'm excited. Like this is going to be another big year on the Bayou, and I think that you guys have another big year coming in the SEC. So go get them.
Yes, sir. Thank you.